I'm happy you guys came, despite the bad weather. I guess I'll start with an introduction, since you probably don't know me. My name is David. I come from Prague, the Czech Republic. I've been living here my whole life, but when I was 19, I went to study in the US. I studied in Michigan, and I played tennis in college. And after I finished in college, I made some money through it, and then I was traveling for quite a long time. I have been traveling. Now I'm back in Prague, just trying to make some money because my savings are running down slowly, but I really enjoy traveling, and I want to keep traveling for as long as possible. So let's get it started. I always want to, or like to start with why I do certain things and why I travel. So why I decided to host this talk. So first of all, I really enjoy traveling, and I think it's really cool to share it with other people, just to inspire people to travel and to show them how it is in different parts of the world. And why Australia and why New Zealand? I was supposed to go there with my ex-girlfriend now. The plan was to go to Australia, New Zealand, and then do a trip around the whole world. It wasn't meant to be, but I still decided to go, and I didn't regret it at all. Okay, so this is where it starts. It's my room. It's December 28th, and I'm packing my stuff. That's always the beginning of every single trip. Not the most favorite and exciting part. And here, already from plane. So, as you can see, this is first class. So I have been really lucky and blessed that one of my friends that I met in the US, she's a flight attendant for United. So she gave me her flight benefits. So I'm able to fly around the world for very little money. So this is a little life hack. If you find a pilot or a flight attendant that you can make friends with, then you can travel and you don't have to pay a lot of money for it. You're a flight attendant?
No, I'm working for an airline company, but definitely not the same.
Oh, sweet. So this is how it all went. As we go, we're slowly going to get the full map. So the first journey was to Melbourne. So I drove from Prague to Munich, Germany. Then I flew from Munich to San Francisco, and then from San Francisco to Melbourne. I always fly through the US because of the flight benefits. So Melbourne was the first stop. This is the 3 bags that I had. I usually just have the first 2, but I had to bring my tennis bags because the Australian Open, the tennis tournament Grand Slam, if some of you know, that was one of the reasons why I went there. And this is my favorite way to sleep. So always at the airports or when I have to, I just sleep on the ground in my sleeping bag. And as you can see, this was a nice warm welcome. The Australian Open is one of the biggest tournaments in the world. Yeah, so there was a nice welcome at the airport. But right after I went to Melbourne, I only had a couple days. I went to Adelaide to visit my friend, a local. So the first thing that we did was we went to a game of cricket, which is a very boring sport, I have to say. But you can see how Australians, how much they're enjoying it. And this was the first sign of how it's going to be. So right from the beginning, it was pretty friendly. And my Adelaide is a winery area, one of the best wines in the world, they say. So we went to a winery. The weather wasn't the best, but the views were beautiful. This is my friend, Sam, from Adelaide. Took me to a winery. Also to a brewery. They had a lot of breweries, which me as a Czech person, I love beer. And also he had his own brewery in his garage. So he just brews his beer and then he drinks it, and I could taste it. It was really nice. He had his sister. We could play some tennis. It was really nice. And I would say the most typical food and one of the most typical things that Australians do is barbecue. So they just buy a load of meat. They discuss it, then they prepare it, they marinate it, and that's how they make it. Okay, so the tennis season starts in Australia, so there's always a bunch of tournaments. There's Adelaide, there's Perth, the whole Australia, and this is one of my peers. I used to play tennis I wasn't the best, but I knew a lot of the players, and now I came to watch him. He won the whole tournament, which was the biggest success for him, so it was nice to see a Czech guy doing well. And here, as the whole of Australia, a lot of beaches, a lot of sun. Big change to what we had here because we are still in January, and it's really nice to have a lot of sun in January. Good mood. This was the wine area. Let's see. So it was nice to see like all the wine areas in the world and how far you are. So I could see that I was really, really far. It's the other side of the world. And these are some things that Australians love. A lot of sweet things, and these Tim Tams, if you've ever had them or if you go to Australia, you'll for sure encounter them. And amazing sunsets. I'm going to be showing you a lot of sunsets throughout the slides. So that was Adelaide. It was amazing to be there with the family. They're religious, so it was cool to see the habits they do, the food they eat, the things they talk about, different life than here. So I really enjoyed it, and it was time to come back to Melbourne. And as I was traveling, I wasn't only traveling, I was also working a bit. So these are tennis camps for Americans that me and my friend were running. So the plan was we're gonna bring Americans here, do some tennis camps for them, and have it as a business. And I was staying in hostels because Australia is a very expensive country. I would say it compares to the United States. So maybe not the best choice of a country to travel to in terms of money. But I mean, I still managed. So this is how it looks like in the hostel. It's like a lobby, so it's pretty wild. A lot of young people going there to party, which is not my favorite thing to do. But nevertheless, it was still fun, and it did the job. And now it's time for the Australian Open. So it was really cool to have the really nice seats. I had the badge, as you can see. So one of the players playing there, he gave me the accreditation. I could go everywhere. I could talk to the players. I could go to the matches and everything. It was really a great experience. And also for Novak Djokovic on the center court, just a great experience to experience it because, as I said, I've played tennis my whole life, and this is a dream come true. And this is a Czech tennis player, Gabi Knudsen. I met her there, and she had a nice little encounter here. Our celebrity, Gabi. How does it feel, Gabi, to be a celebrity?
It's a lot sometimes. I just really need my privacy, you know? Come on, guys, leave me alone.
So she was saying to leave her alone, and then this little cute kid comes there to get another autograph. Really cool. And another sunset, and for a tennis player playing tennis and seeing this on the sky, that's really amazing. And this is with Gabi. We went on a nice rooftop bar in Melbourne. I'm going to show you a few pictures of Melbourne, but I guess not yet. Some food that I was eating. So this was a vegan restaurant. It was 12 Australian dollars for all this. Normally, it usually costs around 20 Australian dollars, which is around, I would say, 13, 14 US, like 400 Czech crowns. So really expensive, everything. So I was trying to save some money, and I thought this was a funny picture in the hostel. And this is some more food that I ate, but mainly it was a lot of eggs, a lot of bread, a lot of fruits, a lot of vegetables, just trying to eat some cheap things and also trying to stay healthy. And now a few pictures of Melbourne. It is a beautiful city. It was really strange to see a Christmas tree there because for us here, Christmas is cold, short days, hopefully snow. There it was 30 degrees Celsius and Christmas tree that didn't really go together, but it was still a great experience. And also with Gabi, went to the beach. Again, beautiful scenes. Melbourne was really, really beautiful. Okay, so now we switch. This is February, and I made my first trip. And how it works in Australia, if you want to travel with people and save some money, you text in a group chat, and you ask people if they want to split the cost for gas and for food. So I texted, and these two girls, one of them is American, this one is French, and we came together. And it's always risky because you don't know who these people are. Maybe you meet them for 30 minutes a day before, which I did, and I assumed that she was British because she was trying to imitate the Australian accent, but in fact she was American, she was from California. And right from the first minute where we rented the car, I could feel that it's not the best vibe. So yeah, the chemistry wasn't the best, but the views were really nice. This is the Great Ocean Road. This is the most famous strip. If you go from Melbourne, you drive about 200 kilometers along the coast. and you get these really nice views. Again, the weather, we were not the luckiest, but doesn't really matter. This was already beautiful. And you can see how shocked I was from the sunset. And a lot of hiking there. And again, the views, just amazing. I would say it looks better in reality, but even the video looks really nice. And as you could see, as the ride check person, I had my beer with me always. Okay, so I could see a lot of animals there. And before I went, I was warned. Snakes, spiders, all these dangerous, venomous things. So this is a casual day. You wake up, you go to the bathroom, and you got a little friend saying hi to you. It's really big spiders. So yeah, I decided not to use the bathroom, but yeah, it's pretty scary and took some time to get used to it. But not only spiders, there was other animals. For example, these jumping friends. In Australia, they have 25 million people and 50 million kangaroos, which is crazy. In New Zealand, it's 25 million sheep and 5 million people, so it's 5 times more the sheep than people. Australia is 2 to 1, which is still a lot. You can see a lot of kangaroos. Okay, and this was crazy. So as I was talking about the girls, they were a little bit crazy, and what they decided to do, they decided to shave their hair for no reason, so they asked me to help them. I didn't really know what was happening, but I guess I had a new job for a bit.
Feel to ascend to the level of hairdresser.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna change my professional career. And this was, I guess, like the last straw. It wasn't great. Also with the driving, of course, you drive on the left in Australia, and the American girl was driving, and she wasn't used to it. So many times she would just drive to the right side, and then it's me on the next to the driver's seat, just like hoping that we're not gonna crash. So I decided that the next day I just packed my stuff in the middle of the national park, and I just left. I've never done that before in my life. Never had an issue traveling. This was the first time, unfortunately, but I mean, I guess I had to do it. But then I took a bus and had a friend to travel with me, so it was all good. But a good lesson. Next time, really make sure you meet the people that you travel with. Then it's a pleasant experience. Luckily, there was Miriam from Spain and Murray from Germany. So I traded 2 girls for another 2 girls. And with these, you can tell me which picture you like more. We had amazing chemistry, and we decided to go to Tasmania, which is right below Melbourne, as you can see here. It's part of Australia. It's a state in Australia. It's one of the 7 states. Later, we're going to talk about all of them. And now I'm going to show you a few pictures, and the nature, just amazing. Haven't really seen this kind of nature, changes a lot. The weather wasn't really warm. It was pretty cold, given it was Australia, around 25 degrees maximum, could be 5-10 degrees at night. And it was peak summer at the time. And this was just crazy to see a penguin sign. Never have seen a penguin except in a zoo. So it was cool to see the sign, and we also saw penguins later. And just, again, beautiful sights, not many people there. We could just walk around, enjoy the views.
So there are penguins in Tasmania?
Yeah, I think it's the smallest penguins in the world. They are pretty much everywhere there. Later I'm gonna show. Yeah, they're just living there, hanging out. You can just see them in the wild. Really cool. Again, beautiful hike. Not many people there, so it felt like you were just alone in the middle of the nature, and just feels like the nature speaks to you, and again, it feels really nice. Your head is empty. And this is a pretty common Australian thing. I think we only have it at Stromovka here. They have grills, barbecues in public parks, or just really anywhere. So you can just put your meat there, you can cook it, then you eat it, then you clean it. Not the easiest to clean it because you always burn it. That's what Australians do. But pretty cool. So the girls were making some burgers. But Tasmania is also really, really windy. I was really I wasn't holding back, and the wind would hold me. Couldn't really drink or hold your phone because it would just fly away. And this is Hobart, the capital. So we just stopped there for a second just to see the city, but I would say, especially Tasmania, it's not about the cities, it's just about the nature, so we didn't spend too much time there. And we had a lot of fun. So I was pumping gas and we were
You did that.
I was trying to catch some blueberries. And this is the car we had that we rented. We got a lot of rain. This is how our car looks like right now. Doesn't look like we're driving anytime soon. The weather wasn't, again, the best, but doesn't really matter. You just enjoy what you have. And again, we had great time and great chemistry with the girls. So I was really happy that it went the way it did. Little family. Not sure who is the parent and who is the child, but it was fun. And this is the promised penguins. So this is in the north of Tasmania. And they only come out at night. Not sure why, but I think for some hatching. And so there's water behind them, and you can just see how they go up. And there was like tens of them. And again, super sweet, super beautiful. And Gabby Knudsen, the girl from the video signing the ball, she was playing a tournament there. So I figured I could stop by there and watch her play. It was fun, but unfortunately she lost in the first round. So then we went back to Melbourne, and she tried to work as a flight attendant for a few seconds. And this is back in Melbourne, just for a few days. So there should be a little arrow. So from Tasmania back to Melbourne. So Melbourne was becoming a little home. And as I said, traveling in Australia is big on parties, but that's not what I really wanted to do. But nevertheless, I went out a few times. So we came back to Melbourne, and all of us went out to a Latino party. A lot of fun. I can recommend. And this is already saying bye to the girls. That's also a big part of traveling. You meet a lot of people, a lot of amazing people, but you also have to say bye to a lot of amazing people. And now, next flight is from Melbourne to Sydney. Not the capital of Australia, by the way. Capital of Australia is Canberra, which is somewhere here. It's a small city. Not a lot of people even know about it. Don't know why they did it, but that's how it is. When we go to Sydney, it was the New Year, the Chinese New Year. So we could celebrate it. And this is the Opera House, of course. You're going to see it many, many times. Again, it was a dream come true. Would always see it on TV, the fireworks, and like really seeing it was really cool. So the first thing we did when we came to Sydney was the Opera House. And this is my second party out of 3. This is a boat party. It was nice, again, to see the Opera House. And in Australia, they have a lot of Asian influence. So there's a lot of people from Asia just to go for a better living. So you can see a lot of these big sushis and also just a lot of Asian restaurants and a lot of Asian food, really tasty. Now we are in February, and I already spent a lot of money at that point. I don't even know how much. I'll tell you at the end how much I spent overall. But I figured I should get at least a bit of a job, make some money. So since I play tennis, making money with tennis is the easiest, and it makes pretty good money. So I talked to one coach there. He told me that I can work for 8 weeks, but that was not the plan because I only had 5 months in Australia. So I just wanted to work maybe for 3-4 weeks. So I told him, okay, what if I go to New Zealand, come back, and then I work for 4 weeks? That's what happened. So I went to New Zealand. I came back. I'm going to talk about that on Monday. But just quickly, it was amazing. The most beautiful country, I think, in the world. I recommend it to everyone. The nature was just beyond stunning. Can't describe it. So if you get a chance to go to New Zealand, I couldn't recommend it more. Okay, so this is me in Australia. Wasn't expecting this. So at one point, I had 5 jobs, which is crazy. So I was coaching tennis in one place. I was delivering for Uber and for DoorDash on an e-bike. I was coaching for another place, and I was stringing tennis rackets. So I really took it to my heart, trying to make as much money as I can. Wasn't a lot of fun, but did the job. This is the coach that I was coaching with, Paul. And this is, I guess, another activity that I did there. There was a Czech concert there. There's a lot of Czech people in Sydney. So this is Xindl X. Some of you might know him. So he had a concert in Sydney. So it was really, really nice to meet some Czech people. Okay, I didn't make some good decisions. So the housing situation in Australia, especially in the big cities in Sydney, is pretty bad, expensive, and the quality is really low because the demand is high. So this is what I got. This is the living room. We got some mushrooms there. This is the kitchen, and we got some big friends there. So this is a cockroach. And as you can see, in Australia, everything is bigger. Everything is bigger than it's here. I mean, this one was like 3-4 centimeters, and when you see it, it's not the nicest thing. And this is also what happened. So I was cooking in the kitchen, and suddenly the ceiling just fell. So don't know what happened. Someone was taking a shower, and the ceiling just couldn't hold it. So yeah, this wasn't the best decision. I mean, I didn't know that it's going to be that bad, but couldn't really do much. And a strange thing and fun fact about Australia, everything happens weekly. So you pay weekly for rents, you get your money weekly, so you have to pay rent weekly. It was 300 Australian dollars per week. I had my room, I'll show you later, in here, super small, pretty expensive. Okay, so this is what happened after 4th week of working, I guess, 5 jobs and playing tennis. And I did this movement that I have done probably million times in my life, maybe millions. And I just blocked my back. So I couldn't walk for a few days. I was just laying in bed. It was pretty bad. But after a few days, I could finally walk. This is the room. So just a small bed, a table, and that was pretty much it. And so I was in Sydney for 7 weeks overall. The first 4 weeks I was working like crazy, but then I figured it's not what I enjoy. There are other things that I enjoy more. I really like meditation, mindfulness, psychology, reading, learning, and it's more interesting than making $30 per hour, driving an e-bike and doing that. So then for 3 weeks, what I decided to do, I woke up, I would go for a workout, for a walk, I would meditate, I would read books, I would talk to some of my friends, and do it for 3 weeks straight. It was a pretty interesting experiment, but I really recommend it. Could really work on myself, and I read about 15 books in 3 weeks, which now is really helpful. I did explore Sydney a bit, not too much, but I'm going to show you what I had there. Again, beautiful sunsets. This is the city center in Sydney. It's right next to the ocean, so you have a lot of boats there, a lot of ferries. Again, the Opera House looks beautiful at night. Last few days, I would go here, just sit here, overlook the harbor, and bring my laptop, watch some courses, do some stuff, read books. Amazing, nice views. Again, the Opera House never gets old, at least for me. This is the view from the Opera House, and I think this is the last thing about the Opera House. They have a really nice restaurant there. Okay, one more Opera House. So this is Bondi Beach. You might have heard. This is, they say, the most famous beach in the world. Everyone goes there, surfing there. You can swim there. I think it's a little bit overrated, but of course I have to see it. And that's it for me. That's Sydney. So now we are in late April. So it's been already 4 months. And I knew I had to be back in the Czech Republic in the beginning of June. So I had 1 month to see everything else. I didn't go to Australia to just see a little part of it. So what was left was the West Coast, was the rest of the East Coast, and the outback, which is everything in the middle. So the outback is here in the middle of Australia. Only around 1 or 2% of the people live there. So everyone lives on the coast. Okay, the laser is not the best, but on the coast in the big cities. So my next move was to fly from Sydney to Cairns, which is a city in the north. Here is the Great Barrier Reef. So that was also one of the things that I wanted to see, one of the world wonders. And so this is already on the Great Barrier Reef before diving. Met a girl from France. Again, great thing about traveling, just get to meet so many people. We had to wear the suits because in Australia it's not only spiders, snakes, but it's also stingrays, sharks, the things in the water that can burn you. I forgot the name. Corals, those are the ones that you see. Okay, I'm gonna get it later. Never mind. But there's a lot of dangerous things in the water. Jellyfish. Thank you. Jellyfish. So if it stings you, then it's not the best. So you have to be really careful. Australia has millions of beaches, but you can only swim on very few of them. So amazing that you have the water, but you can't really go in. Even they have a lot of crocodiles there, which I even got to see. But this is an American couple, Chris and Chloe, that we met, and it was amazing because I was in the US for 5 years, and during those 5 years, I didn't really make a lot of American friends. But with Chris, right, the first minute, great chemistry, great energy. So we had a great day, and we even met up after the Great Barrier Reef. Unfortunately, I don't have any pictures because couldn't have my phone there, no camera, but it was breathtaking. You dive there, you have all the colors, you feel like you're in a movie, like the reefs, the corals there, the lights, all different colors, and it really was beautiful. So we got some food, and let's see if you guys can guess what are these meats. You can take some wild guesses. Correct, that's one. I think this one is kangaroo. What else is there? So this one is crocodile, and this one is emu. So I didn't really want to do it, but I figured, okay, might as well try it. They eat it there like we here eat chicken or beef. So I just wanted to try a little bit. So I got to taste it. It tastes similar to other meats. I think for me, the crocodile was the best. I felt a little bit bad, but hey, when you travel, you got to try a lot of things. This is still in the north. It's a little bit hippie vibe there. So there was a little village, Kuranda village, which is surrounded by the oldest forest in the world. It's about 100 million years. This is how it looks in the village. As you can see, they sell dried kangaroo meat and even crocodile, so I couldn't really feel that bad. And this is the village. Okay, I'll raise the quality for the next video. And they had amazing waterfalls. You might have seen a lot of waterfalls. I always say it, I went to the Niagara waterfalls. I think I didn't like them. I think they're super overrated. I enjoyed these waterfalls more than Niagara Falls. It was really cool to see. And you take a really old train to the village. It's about 100 years old, and you get to see all these nice views. So that was really amazing. Maybe if you could hear it, the Australian accent. I finished in Cairns, and a really cool thing in Australia, in Europe, in New Zealand, and I think even in the US, you can rent or borrow a van for $1 per day, and you drive it for $1. There's no catch. You just need to move it from one place to another because that's what the companies need. They have a rental, let's say in Sydney, but you're in Cairns, so I would go from the north to the south so the people can rent it. Great deal for me, great deal for the company because they save money on people having to drive it. So, just got the keys. This is the new home. Pretty cool. Takes 4 people. It's gonna be just me, so a lot of space. It's gonna be fun. Yeah, so this would be me 4 days driving in this guy. This is a little bit older, but amazing, full van. I'm gonna show you a little tour later, but you had everything there. So the next move was to drive from Cairns to Brisbane. So here I would check off the East Coast. This is where a lot of the amazing places on the East Coast are. As you can see, driving down, couldn't swim because of all the crocodiles and the stingrays, but I could at least enjoy the amazing views. And a lot of islands on the East Coast. So here we're going to the Magnetic Island, where you can spot, and let's see if you can spot an animal. If you can, tell me what it is. If you can't see it, I'll give you a little hint. Yeah. So they had koalas there just in the wild. It was really easy to spot it because there was a hike, and every time there would be 5 people looking up, you knew that there's a koala there. So I got to see quite a few of them. And it was, again, only saw them before in a zoo. And it's just really cool to see it in the wild. They're endangered. There's not a lot of them left, but they just sleep all day. They eat the eucalyptus, and they have a good life, so the inspiration. I rented a motorbike to explore the island. which was great. Don't try this at home, driving and being on a motorbike and being on your phone, but amazing views. This is from the magnetic island. It was really warm, but still amazing hike. And this is another island you might have heard. It's the Whitsundays Island. Again, Australians say it's the most famous islands and beaches in the world. I didn't hear about it before, but this beach was really something. This is the Whitehaven Beach, and this is said to be top 10 in the world. Again, you can see for yourself. That's the Whitehaven Beach. And again, we got a little rain, so as you can see. So this is Whitehaven Beach in Whitsunday Island. It's told to be one of the most beautiful beaches in the world. You can see we have a little shower, but right now no one is here. You can see how amazing it is. That's what I wanted to say. And this is the van. Okay. So just a little tour. How you get into it? Starts here with the kitchen. You get a nice little fridge. Not much there right now. Here a cooker. Easy stuff to put pots, pans, and everything else. A little microwave. As we go inside, you can see up here, there's my bed. It's pretty spacious. There is space for 2 more beds, but they were too small, so I'm sleeping upstairs. Yeah, it was a lot unfortunate for me because I'm really tall, so I had to go up. Didn't have a lot of space, but again, I managed. It was a van for 4 people, so it was just fine. And this is the first time where I got close to feel nothing, because in the outback, it's famous for just, there's nothing there. It's just bare land. You just drive, no gas stations, just nothing. So this was a little taste of it, but this was just a little taste. This was only like 100 kilometers of nothing of this, but later you're gonna see more. But before that, I go to Brisbane, another major city in Australia. Really liked Brisbane. Some people say it's not really as beautiful. I thought it was really cool. And this is, if you guys remember, this is Miriam. So she lives in Melbourne. This is the one from that I traveled with in Tasmania. So she let me stay with her. She was amazing. This is another of my friends. This is Nastya, and now she's studying in Brisbane. So we saw each other there. We played some tennis. So again, it was really cool to see someone there. And this is the river. Brisbane is on the river. You can take the boat. Again, you can see a little overcast for the weather, but all good. And Miriam showed me around the city. It's always amazing to have a local. They can show you everything. And she's not a local. She's from Spain, but she knows the place pretty well. And this is the last party. And this was probably the most satisfying evening maybe forever for me. So she took me to a Latino party. And it was me, one guy from Turkey, and I think 7 or 8 girls, either from Colombia, from Argentina, or from Chile, or from Spain. And they took me to this place where, as you can see, we have some really good dancers. Oops. Okay, when over each other. But you can see people really know how to dance, and not saying that I'm not the best dancer. I wasn't, but after this night, I considered myself to be pretty decent. They just took me on the dance floor, and David just danced with us, and like all the moves, all the salsas. First 2 songs, I was cooking. I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? But then they taught me the steps. I got into the music, and I have to say, having a Latino party with Latino people, it was just amazing. We danced through the whole night, and it was one of the best nights. The next day, I had around 3 days in Brisbane. The next day, I went on a trip to a national park. This is Patricia. This is friend of Miriam.
Oh my God, it's raining all
Rain again, I guess. Was my friend there, but beautiful views. And this is, again, with Nastya. This is the girl that I play tennis with. It's her husband. So translation, they're arguing that she's going to take a picture with the sign. They're not going to be able to see the actual pie. So it was, again, amazing to have some Czech people there to travel with, to remember, I guess, where I come from. And they really love food. So do I. So We went to a really nice place, had to take the nice pictures, of course, but also explore a lot of nature. So we rented a car for a couple days, went to the national parks, and that's a really nice thing about Australia. In all the major cities, you drive 1, 2, 3 hours and you have amazing nature. So you really have a lot of options where to go. You have a lot of beaches. This is in Byron Bay. They say it's the capital of surfing. Finally, we had a nice weather. Yeah, cool car here. And this is still part of the rainforest, so really old rainforest. And you can see just how even the nature changes. You have a beach, you have a forest, you have green, you have gray, you have orange, you have a lot of different colors, a lot of different sceneries, which was really cool to see. A few more pictures. Amazing waterfalls, again better than Niagara waterfalls. And this is us happy after the food. And that was it with Pepa and with Nastya. And at the Latino party, I met a girl. This is Liz. She's from Colombia. So my next move was to drive from one side of Australia to another. That's probably the craziest, the most dangerous, and like the ultimate road trip in Australia that you can do. But I had one day before, so I spent a day with Liz. A great time. Latino people have amazing energy, so I really, really enjoyed it. And this is a little preview to the car that I had. So I'll show you on the map where I went, but before that, this is Gold Coast. This is right below Brisbane. And now part of me wishes I was living there, because how people start their day, they go surfing before work, they go for a run with the sunrise, then they go for coffee. Here in Prague, 7, 8 months of the year, you have cold, you have short days, it's gray, it's gloomy, and you have the people. So yeah, I'm missing Australia a little bit, but again, it was beautiful. And this is it. So this is my new car, did some shopping, and this is where I went. So from Brisbane, I drove on the other side of Australia to Broome, so from the east coast to the west coast. And as you can see, here you have the outback. So I didn't really know what to expect. I heard be careful, a lot of things that can kill you, starting from spiders to a lot of heat, no water, your car can break down, you can lose gas, or the Aboriginal people, or just whatever else you're going to encounter. Dingoes, everything. So I just figured, okay, let's do it. Let's have adventure of my life. And that's exactly what it was. I was extremely lucky this time. So they gave me a new car, brand new car. It had 35 kilometers on it, a Toyota Hilux with a tent on the roof. So you could put the tent down. So the car, as you can see, it has fridge, things for cooking, gas, stove, pots, pans, just absolute dream. So I would always sleep here. I could sleep anywhere. It was amazing. I really recommend. They even do it in Europe. I think a lot of times they do it from Germany, from Munich, from Berlin. You drive it to a different country, again, for free, just you pay a little bit of gas. And yeah, it's just really cool to experience it. I had to buy a lot of food, so I bought some frozen food, dried frozen food. You could see a bit of a fall, had some nice leaves there. And this is Darwin. So this is not where I was driving, but this is just a little bit before. So you can see 3,434 kilometers, which is quite a lot. At the end, it was around 5.2 thousand kilometers in 11 days. So it was a lot of driving. And this is where it starts. So now I'm going to try to explain you, not as a physicist, but as a traveler, what nothing means. So you have these gas stations with no gas. You have these signs. And this is how it looks like. Let me try to give you a good quality. So this is already in the outback. You have roads are closed because there's a lot of flooding. So the north of Australia, as I was showing on the map, like the northwest, they either have a hot season, dry season, or a rainy season. The hot season is 45 degrees. You can't really live there. But the rainy season, it's even worse because you get flash floods. There's hundreds of people dying every year, and it can get really bad really fast. So it was pretty dangerous there as well. I'll try to play it with the better quality again. So this is a city. This is one of the biggest cities. A few buildings. And this is my car, again, just sleeping in the middle of nowhere. This was also a little bit dangerous. Anyone could come, but I was just trusting that it's going to be all good. I would try to hide myself behind some trees, and it was all good. A lot of parrots there. So we had spiders, we had kangaroos. They had hundreds of these parrots just driving there. You wake up, they're on your car, on your tent. Again, would never see this here in Europe. Amazing views. So this is how I was falling asleep. Just found a place to stay, watched the sunset, and soon I'm going to show you a lot of sunsets. And this was my favorite part because when I was there, it was getting, so now we are in May, and in Australia it's getting to winter. So right now in Australia it's the fall or the winter. It's flipped. So the day starts early, but it also ends early. So around 5 p.m. it gets dark. So I would wake up at 5, go to sleep at 6 or 7. And once you're falling asleep, you see the night sky, which this is my iPhone camera, not really best. But you look up and you see the Milky Way above you. Then you see all the constellations. And it's just something different. Never have seen so many stars. It's just beautiful to see it. Then I would play some songs, like classical songs, my favorite songs. And just when you listen to the songs, you look at the skies. Amazing. Okay, so now let's see how the road looked like. So this is a highway, and this is how it was the whole for 5,000 kilometers, basically, just one lane. This was good because the road was sealed, but a lot of the times it wasn't sealed. There was a lot of potholes, a lot of dust, as you could see, but it's for the experience. But this was beautiful. Sometimes I could just stop in the middle of the road. Nobody was there. And I could just lay down for a bit, chill, and enjoy these sunsets. So now there's going to be around 5-7 slides. And this is just amazing. You get all different colors, all different shades, every single night. So with some people there, and another one. And another one. Okay, that was it. So I guess you guys all know the sign. So the most iconic kangaroo sign. 190 kilometers. It's crazy. It's like from Praha to Brno. Just would be kangaroos jumping there. Really, again, amazing to see it. And this was a pretty common sign. Sorry, no fuel. So I had to be extremely careful. Every time I would see a gas station, I would take fuel because, of course, there was no signal. Luckily, in the car, I had a little GPS tracker that I could press at any time. If I would press it, a helicopter is going to fly and save me. But they told me that if it's a mistake, I would have to pay 10,000 Australian dollars just for the emergency. That was also an experience. And at some point, it was around 250, 300 kilometers of just nothing. So my car would go around 500, 550. So I would just hope that they have gas because sometimes it happens they just don't, because it takes a lot of time to get it there. Of course, it's more expensive. So this sign was always not the nicest thing to see. And this is an example. So next gas station, maybe 163 kilometers. Next one, maybe 361. And this is insane. So 645 kilometers, just stray animals that they can be on the road. So you drive and you have to be careful because there's a lot of cows, a lot of kangaroos, especially kangaroos, a lot of other animals just jumping on the road. So I couldn't drive at night. I would always have to wake up, drive during the day, just for the safety. And also it was in the conditions of the rental. If you drive at night, we are not gonna cover anything. So I would always drive during the day. And again, I had to take a selfie with the kangaroo. And this is a gas station in the middle of nowhere. Reminds me of the Wild West in America a little bit. The people that were there, these older guys, especially just truck drivers, drinking a beer, smoking a cigar, and it was cool to see. Had a little accident, bought some pasta sauce and didn't make it. And this is Northern Territory. So I was mentioning Australia has 7 states. So the first one, Tasmania, where we went with the 2 girls. Then Melbourne is in the state of Victoria, that's 2. Then Sydney is in New South Wales, that was 3. Then Brisbane was in Queensland, that was 4. This is Northern Territory, that was 5. And yeah, so you just see the sign, and then again, for 200 kilometers, there's nothing. Or nothing, I mean, this. So this is my beautiful car, and these are the amazing views. And after like 20, 30 hours, you just feel like, can I get some distraction or something, maybe a person or some hike or something. So I would listen to a lot of audiobooks or just think or just stop, make some food. But yeah, it was a long time. But I was really enjoying it, surprisingly. Again, a lot of books. I really enjoyed that, and you have a lot of time to think things through. So it was a great just kind of reset time and just to think through life. I'm 25, so just 2 years ago I finished college, so there's a lot of things that I want to try. So I think traveling in general is a great way to explore yourself, but this is also a good way just be by yourself in the middle of nowhere, have no distractions. This was, I think, day 7 out of 10 of me driving the long drive. There was a little hike. Amazing nature. It was nice to get a little hike in, and some waterfalls. Beautiful. The combination of the orange and the green. And these were really cold, but here there was some kind of a hot pool cave that you could sit there, and there'd be warm water coming on you. Then you have the cold water in your feet, and again, really, really cool. And this is Western Australia. So this is the last state that I would visit. Western Australia is, I think, as big as Europe. It's one state, but it's as big as Europe. It's huge. You're going to see it on the map. And I took a screenshot that was here. It just felt crazy driving from here all the way to here. But here I crossed to Western Australia. Had to be really careful because you cannot have any fruits, any vegetables, because there could be some flies and things like that. So they could take it really super seriously. They check your car, check your fridge. You have to eat everything or give them everything. So all my supplies were gone. The scenery changed a bit. We have a little something. Capital of surfing Australia, surfing everywhere. Even got to see a peacock. And this is how I would cook. So I have the gas stove. I would make a lot of pasta, basically just pasta, eggs in the morning, avocado, hummus. That would be it every single day. Didn't really mind it though. And this is Broome. This is the city where I was driving to. 683 kilometers. So I was almost there. But first crisis. I'm only 600 kilometers away from Broome, like 650. But I just can't drive anymore. It's just, this part is just, it's not pretty, and it's just straight. It's annoying. It's boring. I don't know. It just came. I just don't want to drive anymore. So that's how I felt. A little frustration, but that was like the one only weak moment. But now, as you're gonna see, wasn't as bad. So this is the typical route in the outback. Pretty bad, but pretty cool experience to drive on it. And this is like 2 hours after my little crisis. So I was like, okay, let it go. You're in Australia. Enjoy it. You're almost there. Enjoy it. And I would just stop in the middle of the road and just enjoy, because this is the highway. There's no cars, and you gotta take advantage of it. And you get a little crazy if you spend a lot of time by yourself. So, like I said, that's what was happening here. And this is it. Okay, this is it. This is the West Coast. So after 5 4,100 kilometers, 10 grueling days of 500 plus kilometers per day of driving. Finally made it. So now I can say I drove across Australia. Not a bad beach. It's an absolutely stunning beach. Let's go for a little swim. So one thing I should mention, the Aboriginal people there. So in Australia, in New Zealand, you have the Maori people, and in Australia you have Aboriginal people that were there when the Europeans came. And when you drive through the cities in the outback, there's the majority of the people is Aboriginals, and they don't really like white people. There's quite a fight going on between them because they're saying, you know, you guys came, you took everything from us. So Europeans, or now Australians, they give them some money to live, but the relationship isn't really good. And a lot of them, they live like on poverty, a lot of alcohol there, a lot of drugs. And it's really sad to see because, and you can also feel it when you drive and you meet the people, you feel like they don't want to talk to you. I even really felt dangerous. I lived in Detroit in the United States for a few years, and Detroit has a pretty bad reputation, but I never ever felt as bad as sometimes I would feel here. So every time I would get gas, I would just quickly get gas, hope that they're not gonna hit me, take my keys, take my car and leave me there, because that has happened there, unfortunately. But luckily, I was fine. But yeah, I mean, I understand the local people, because what happened, I mean, Europeans came there, they killed a lot of them, they took everything from them. So I understand that, you know, I'm a white, tall person, that's how they see me. But it's a little bit unfortunate that this is the case. Would be nice if the relationship between them was better, but that's just how it is. But opposite experience with the Maori people. They're super welcoming. They want to integrate, and yeah, they were really nice. So I'm going to talk about it on Monday. So yeah, that was an interesting experience, because last year I also traveled in Asia, in places like Cambodia or Pakistan. And you see the poorest people in the world, then you see the richest people in the world, for example, in Sydney. But you don't really see a difference how people feel. And then it makes you think about what is really important in the world. Is it money? Is it a nice car? Is it a nice house? Is it friends? Is it people? Is it family? Is it love? And even with the Aboriginal people, it was cool to see, because they really stick together. And that's what gives them a lot of strength, a lot of energy. So that was really, really nice. And that's also a great part about traveling, because you get to meet so many different and diverse cultures. Because if I only stayed here, I'm going to get to meet one type of nationality, but there is so much more to see. So I'm really grateful that I got to see it. And so the next move, here from Broome, I flew to Perth. So and I forgot Adelaide, South Australia. So this is the state number 7. So check. And the last 5 or 6 days, and I had a little surprise. So this is Liz, if you guys remember, the Colombian girl that I met at the party. We decided she's going to fly to Perth, so she flew from one side of Australia to another to spend some time with me and to travel in Perth a bit, got some shopping, and then we were exploring the coast. You don't have a lot of green places in Australia. You could see a lot of green in the pictures, because I went to, of course, a lot of the places, but I think 95% of Australia is desert. But Perth is, there's a huge desert in the north of Australia, but when you go to Perth, which is in the south, there's a lot of green, a lot of wineries. So again, it was beautiful, a lot of beaches. Perfect dinner. And amazing sunsets again. And they have some even cooler signs. I don't really know what that is, what this is. They have water birds, they had quokka signs. That's pretty funny. And again, tried some beer. Was the vibe there throughout the whole trip, except in the middle of Australia, in the outback, with the Aboriginal people, was chill, friendliness, good energy. You feel welcome, you feel chill. That's not in the US. I think it's complete opposite. You're stressed, you just want to go to work, you work, then you have to do things, you always do things. Here, or in Australia, you live. You live to live, and I think that's a good way to live. So that was really nice to experience it, and you feel really good. This is one of the last days, and we are on the west coast by the Pacific, I believe. And you can see how far everything is. So Sydney, 4,000 kilometers, Cape Town, New York. Europe was almost 20,000 kilometers away. And again, it reminds you where you are. I was on this other side of the world, but I knew I'm coming back. So it was a interesting feeling. I went to a winery with Liz, and a little transition from a beautiful lady to sleeping in a tent. So I spent a lot of nights in the tent. First of all, just to save some money, but second of all, I really enjoyed sleeping in the nature. The sleep is really good. The temperature was pretty perfect there. I was lucky that I didn't experience the worst heat in the outback. I had around 25, 30 during the day, maybe 15 at night, which is perfect for sleeping. So we had this tent, some emus here. And this was at the time where the Czech Republic won the gold medal in ice hockey. You guys might have seen it. That was one thing that was a little bit sad about, that I wasn't here. It was only 2 or 3 days for me. But to be fair, I didn't really believe they're going to make it that far. So I just figured, let's spend a few more days in Australia. It is what it is. At least I could support from the beach. But I'm really happy that we won. And again, amazing beaches. This was really epic. This was, I think, one of the last nights. By the lake, it's a moon, and you could see the reflection in the lake. I've never seen it before. It felt unreal. And this is a cave. There's a lot of caves there. And again, like you go there, that's where the people lived thousands of years ago. You get to experience it. Pretty cool experience as well. And this is Perth, a really nice city. Majority of the big cities in Australia are really nice. Pretty developed, and a lot of things to do and eat. This is really the last night, so we got some ramen to finish it. This was probably the best food I've ever eaten in my life. So there was a nice little cherry on the top of the cake of the whole trip. And as you could see at the beginning, so we finally finished a whole loop. So from here, the whole pretty much loop back to Sydney. Then I flew from Sydney to San Francisco to, I think, Munich. Then I took a bus to Munich. And the next day, I remember I would meet my friends. I would take a subway in the morning in Prague. And I'm in the subway and I'm looking at people and I'm wondering what happened here. Like it's is there a pandemic or something? Because people were just so serious. In Australia, you're in a tram, in a subway, and you get smiles, you just feel good. So that was a big shock. And it was surprising because I wasn't expecting that I'm going to come back and then feel a shock. I thought it's going to be the other way. But really, so I've been here for around 4 weeks. And it's quite a shock to come back to the reality, I guess. But no, I brought a lot of things. Australia is amazing, but Czech Republic as well, Prague as well. So now I'm trying to integrate all these experiences and try to take this good energy here to Prague. And this is the way back. Again, one of the flights, I had to upgrade it. It's only around $80 to upgrade for first class. And I always feel like, come on, it's a 15-hour flight. It's really worth it because you can sleep, you have great food, and it's cool to feel like, the service is really good, so it's cool to feel like that. And this is already at home. Our dog was waiting for me. And that's it. So just to sum up and talk about a few lessons that I've learned or things that have happened there. So surprisingly, the biggest thing that it brought me is clear mind. Sounds weird, I guess, but especially in New Zealand, but also in Australia, everything was clear. When you think about something, past, future, present, everything just feels clear. I think part of it is the traveling, but also part of it is the nature, because the nature there was, as you could see, I thought beautiful. And it stayed until now, which I'm really happy about. So and I think now I can see a lot of things from perspective again, wider perspective. Czech Republic is a country, but there's more than that. There's more than Europe. There's other cultures, other religions, other ways to live. That's what traveling shows you and teaches you. again, taught me the importance of traveling, or reminded me the importance of traveling. I love it. I always tell people they should do it, but it doesn't mean to go to Australia. It can be just to go to the nature, or to Slovakia, Germany, Poland. Doesn't really matter, but just to explore, be open-minded. And that's also another thing that I feel like you have to be open-minded. If you're not, then you're gonna die if you go to places. The chill way of life in Australia, as I mentioned, that's really something I hope it's gonna stay with me, because it really feels nice. There's no rush. The things they say, good day, mate, easy, too easy, too easy. So you go to a bank. I went to a bank to set up my bank account, and like, hey guys, I just need to set up my bank account. Like, oh, good day, mate, too easy, just sit down. Like they just always say easy, just because life is easy there. As I mentioned, the experience with the Aboriginals, that was a strong experience, but really happy for that, and kind of just showed me what I want to do with life. As I mentioned, some of these meditations, mindfulness, psychology. Today I just came from a 2-day retreat that we hosted with my friend at a cottage in the middle of nature. So like these things to go deep inside. I'm trying to avoid 9 to 5. I know a lot of young people as me try to do it, but I really want to do something, be my own boss and all these cliches, but I really think that that's something that I want to do. So for now, here for a bit. Would like to spend here a few months, and then go back to traveling. Hopefully, have some financial independence. So now we're trying to create a few projects, just work on a few things. I feel like there is a few more places for me to see before I settle down. So that's it for me. Thank you guys for coming. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.